Section 4, Basics of Semiconductors. Lecture number 2, Basics of Semiconductors, Part 2. Learning objectives of lecture number 2. Learners should able to understand the p-type and n-type of semiconductor material. Learners should able to understand the significance and properties of p-type and n-type semiconductors. Learners should able to know the semiconductor material in periodic table. Now one by one we see the n-type semiconductor material. Basically, the n-type is a material is also known as the donor. In a semiconductor, there is n-type and p-type classification of semiconductor under the extrinsic type of semiconductors, out of which n-type material, these are the material which have pentavalent impurity atoms, that is the donor, added and conduct by electron movement, and are therefore called n-type semiconductors. Now from this figure it can easily be understandable. We have chosen the antimony type of material. In antimony atom showing the 5 electrons in its outer valence shell. When we see the atomic number of antimony atom, the atomic number is 51, and the outer shell of any metal or any material is called a conduction shell or the valence shell. In this valence band, the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, total 5 electrons are existing in the valence band of antimony. Now when this antimony is bonding with a silicon, as we know silicon having the 4 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 electrons in its valence band. Therefore silicon is a stable material and antimony is unstable material, because the extra electron is present, because of which this is unstable material. When the antimony is forming a covalent bond with a silicon, at that time one free electron is generated. Now one by one see this antimony material. This is a silicon material. The 1 electron from the silicon is combining with 1 electron from the antimony. It forms a covalent bond. From second silicon, 1 electrons from silicon, 1 electron from antimony combines to form a second covalent bond. Similarly for the third, similarly for the fourth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 4 electrons of silicon and 5 electrons of antimony. 4 electrons are combining with 4 electrons of antimony, and the 1 electron, that is a free electron, is existing, and this free electron carries an electricity. Therefore this is called as a n-type of semiconductor material. The basic reason behind it calling as an n-type, it generates an free electron, that is why it called as n-type of semiconductor material. Now we will see some points in the n-type semiconductors. N-type semiconductors, the donors are positively charged. There are a large number of free electrons exist when the antimony type of material, these are combining with silicon or germanium. A small number of holes in relation to the number of free electrons. There are less holes are existing in this n-type of semiconductor material. Doping use positively charged donors and negatively charged free electron. When the antimony is combining with a silicon, at that time the donors are positively charged. When the antimony gives 1 electron to the silicon or the 1 electron outer the combining material, that time that antimony material is getting stable, because of which it is having the positive charge, and that 1 free electron is flown inside a circuit or flown inside a combining material that having the already negative charge. So donors are positively charged and electron is a negatively charged in the n-type semiconductor material. Supply of energy gives negatively charged free electron and positively charged holes. Holes are always having the positive charge and electrons are always having the negative charge. P-type semiconductor. These are the materials which have trivalent impurity atoms, that is acceptors, added and conduct by hole movement and are therefore called p-type semiconductor. Basically, while differentiating a semiconductor material under the extrinsic type of semiconductor, this p-type semiconductor is exist. Let's say directly see a figure. The figure conduct a element that is called a boron. Boron atom showing 3 electrons in its outer valence band. As we know, the outer band is a valence band. A boron is having its atomic number is 5. So because of which in the outer region there are 3 electrons are exist. To get stable, the boron element accept 1 electron from the other material, and if there are 4 electrons are exist, 1 2 3 and another 4 electron that are accepted by the another material, so boron will get stability, and because of which the boron when combines with the silicon, as we know silicons are having the 4 electrons in its valence band, this 1 electron is combining with 1 electron of boron to form an covalent bond. 1 electron of silicon is forming a covalent bond with 1 electron of boron. This bond is in exist. In the next, 1 electron from the silicon combining with 1 electron from the boron, and it will form a covalent bond. As we know, there are total 3 electrons are exist. So when 4th silicon material is getting form a covalent bond, that time a hole is exist because there is no electron to get combined with 1 electron of silicon, and because of which there is hole is exist. Remember that hole is always having a positive charge and electron is always having a negative charge. As the boron material is accepting 1 electron from the other, because of which it is called as acceptor impurities. Once again, when electron is getting accepted by the boron, therefore it is called as acceptor impurities. And in n-type of semiconductor material, antimony is giving or donating its electron to another material, because of it is called as donor impurities. Now see some points regarding the p-type of semiconductors. The p-type semiconductor material, the acceptors are negatively charged. As the boron is accepting 1 electron from the another material, therefore it is having a negative charge. There are a large number of holes are exist, because when boron is combining with a silicon, the large number of hole is occurring. A small number of free electrons in relation to number of holes. The number of holes are more and number of free electrons are less. Doping gives negatively charged acceptor and positively charged hole. Supply of energy gives positively charged holes and negatively charged free electrons. Now see some of a semiconductor material that we are using while manufacturing the solar cell and its band gap energy. In a periodic table, element 13. In element 13, there are 3 electrons in the outer shell. That earlier example, the boron, the 3 electrons in the outer shell, that elements are combined under the element 13. Element 14, there are 4 electrons in the outer shell. Generally this is a neutrally charged, because max to max 8 electrons are required to get stability. But out of 4 electrons are also present, then also it is a neutrally charged. When 1 electron is getting added, that is 5 electrons are there, the atom is having a negatively charge. When 3 electrons are there, that is 4 minus 1, it is a positively charged. Now see element in 13, boron is having the atomic number 5, aluminum is having the atomic number 13, gallium has an atomic number of 31. In element 14, the carbon is having atomic number 6, silicon is having atomic number 14, germanium is having the atomic number 32. In element 15, in the 5 electrons are exist in the valence band. The elements are phosphorus is having atomic number 15, arsenic having atomic number 33, antimony is having atomic number 51. Generally, silicon and germanium, these are the two main material that many companies are using to manufacture a solar cell. At 0 Kelvin, silicon is having 1.17 electron volt of band gap energy. Germanium is having 0.74 electron volt of band gap energy. At a 300 Kelvin, silicon is having 1.11 electron volt of band gap energy. Germanium is having 0.66 of band gap energy. As the temperature is increasing, the forbidden energy or the band gap energy required to access or to generate an electricity is decreasing.